call the 8 levels. So working through, how can we relate that to business? The same deal, two people work very differently. Same numbers, same risk, same upside. One would sign immediately, the other would move back. So that is the whole point of working through the needs. So nothing's wrong with the deal. One might see a lot of upside and growth in it, and one might see a lot of risk in it. The difference is how we perceive the needs, and everyone. So why we behave the way we behave? Because we value our needs differently. And I did this exercise around 3 years back, a little bit. So the point is asking yourself, what are your top two needs? Um, and I was in a room full of about 5,000 people, and most people had significance as their top two needs. Some had certainty. So certainty is what doesn't lets you take the risk, because you perceive the same outcome again and again. If you want the same outcome again and again, you're not taking any chances. So it's the result, the effort's the same, the outcome's the same. Knowing what comes next, you are in the same job for 20 odd years, but you're complaining every day. What's not letting you move out is your need of certainty, right? Safety. Sorry? Look, the laziness is because you don't want to do it, right? So, but because you're happy with the way things are, actually, you might not be happy, but there's something that will leave you there. It may not be laziness. I think it's also that you just want the things the same way subconsciously. Look, laziness can be there. Growth is another aspect. I think most people that are driven by um, hunger have growth as one of their main contributions, which then, so to my understanding, the variety and the growth are exactly opposite to certainty. So if you want to grow, you'll do everything in your power to push through. It's not about who's looking for what. It's just about what you believe is right for you. But then not necessarily you won't grow, but your appetite of risk may not be that high. So, and again, variety everyone loves, changes as well at times. Who doesn't love surprises, especially wives? Significance. Look, I can relate to my example. Some of my top needs when I started was significance, and actually, to some extent, certainty. I didn't want it to go outside of my comfort zone. I've actually come out very well, and I don't want to fall back to my comfort zone anymore. So, but then there was, but at a certain stage in life, you might want to be certain. You have your needs in such a way that you have to have ensure that you have certainty for next 5 years, 7 years, whatever. And then it might be driven by that. Spot on. Spot on. And it also falls back to your levels of consciousness, which we covered in our very first thing, where after a certain point, the growth and contribution becomes your core values, rather than what's in it for me and how can I do everything for myself. So you're very right. Um, Coming back, significance is what's in it for me. I want to be felt important, and if that would have been the case, there's money with billionaires, there's significance with billionaires, and you still see suicides because there's something missing inside. So one of the things that I've learned is, coming to the contribution, the connection, and the growth. Um, Especially growth and contribution has to be one of your top core values. It's something that fulfills you inside, which is either giving back or you're growing well. The third and most important need is connection, which again, from my perspective, that fuels my desire. If everything's good at home, everything's good outside as well. Some of the business coaches will actually ask you, how is everything at home? Because if there's something holding you back, you won't be able to grow outside either. So I maybe not, I'm not contributing as much as I should, but connection and growth are some of my top priorities at this point. I don't care about significance, but look, when you're achieving something, that significance comes just with it. So, coming to, again, it's just good to understand what runs you as well. So, this is what I was talking about: certainty fights variety, significance fights connection. No, because you would give away things for people that you love, for people that you respect, and that's where the significance sometimes takes, rather, connection takes precedence over significance. So, and on socials, like, there was a point when you put posts out and you get a lot of, maybe a post goes viral and you feel, oh, I've achieved a lot in there. It doesn't matter. There's people appreciating that, but then there's no one to talk to still. um how are we, as I've said, people achieve, but they still feel hollow while you go to bed at night. Did you achieve much? Yes. Did it fulfill you? Maybe no, at times. And then this is where, if significance and certainty becomes the top two choices, this is what drives your clients sometimes, where they won't be able to take a decision, but that way you can give them the assurance accordingly as to what your product gives them, and how that can turn to certainty, and maybe for some clients significance as well, because you can't change people. You can change yourself though. um, and again, seva in sanatan dharma just is a big factor of your sixth need, which is contribution. So this is again what Adishi talked about. So there is, to some extent, it's just personality. The more you understand about levels of consciousness, about disc style, and then combine it with the human needs, you'll just see, you won't hate people for what they're doing or how they're doing. It's just that's their trait of where they are in the journey. Exactly what you mentioned. You can't help much with that. It's just to accept and understand, and this gives you, to some extent, some peace as well, when you're not holding grudges against anyone because of the way they are. So, and again, so significance brings greed and, to some extent, exposure. And if significance is the need, if someone's holding a gun at you, they might want to see fear, but they also want to be significant. That is, if significance is a need for someone, the top need, they'll do anything to become more significant. So that's the biggest example you can walk away with on how the needs, or different needs, may actually drive people. Yes. So look, coming to the deals, and it's this Chuck, or this group of ours is finance, development, and property heavy. But then working with people, like when they ask you a question, um, and you start to push them because you feel it is right for them, they are going to be drawn away a little bit. It's just, how can you assure them that they're making the right move based on what's going in the market? So weighing the pros and cons, and then helping them understand what they can achieve best. And again, if there's variety, you give them options. And this is where, um, they talked about, like, I think we've got, I've my background is IT, so we've got another IT person, might be more. Yes. So what happens is, a lot of engineers are very analytical, which is the blue style in your disk, or consensus. But then variety comes part of it. They'd like to see a lot of data. So you can present options and let them choose what options work best for them. Um, and again, significance, you just want to make someone feel important. There's no harm in it. Give them your number, saying, you have my number. I'd love to have a chat, or I give you that authority to contact me whenever you want to be in touch. But I'm just giving them that maybe autonomy, that sometimes they would need, but of course within permissible limits. So lastly, how does that ties to everything? We've talked about 8 levels of consciousness. So the your survival, security, achievement, and finally moving to wisdom and meaning. Your disc, again, how someone behaves. 4 levels that we discussed in disc, which was dominant, influential, and steady and conscientious. And we also discussed about the green people who'll find any reason not to take a decision. And then finally, it ties down to the 6 human needs. So leader, a photograph, and the engine. Um, this, I think, if you need the details, I believe I did place the presentations. If not, I'm happy to. But I won't take much time. That's just frameworks on how you can work with clients. That has changed my working style a lot in last 5 years. I hope it adds value to yours too. To some extent, yes, but I think this has helped me not. So this has helped me not just understand clients, but my family as well, my kids as well. And then it ties down to, like, there's more to it when you work through the relationships, the love languages, and whatnot. But from a client's perspective, the psychology, the influence, what drives them. So yes, to some extent, but sorry. True. Spot on. Yes. Yes. So, but again, this really helps. This has helped me as well, right? So, I again, a lot of people talk in other words called conversion rate. What's your conversion rate? How many clients you sit with? How many you convert? It's true to every business. That's how you measure your success as well. So, these things um, add a lot of contribution to your conversion rates, how you talk to people, how you perceive their understanding as well. So you have to listen more than just sell yourself. When I'm talking to buyers agents in my team, and a lot of them want to speak more and just explain what is it that you do. But at the end of the day, no one wants to hear from you. And sometimes unconsciously, people explain way more than they should, and you can read between the lines or pick those parts and understand their needs, how they're behaving, and you can just tweak your proposal according to people. I've also heard, Ashish, you're manipulative. I don't think that's right. It's just you're presenting the same thing in different way for people to understand and perceive better than what you should have done. So basically, that adds to my understanding a deeper connection, a more meaningful connection. So people relate to you more than to others. Awesome. Just some exercise if you ever are looking to do. Sorry? No, I was talking to someone. I said this becomes manipulation. It seems like you're very manipulative. So, no, not the client. I was talking to someone. I said it's being manipulative. A lot of people perceive things differently. So it's glass half full and glass half empty always. So now we'll move on to the next